Today we are protesting against the charade we call the two-party electoral system. Why are we doing this? Why are we here today to take a stand when so many are resigned to the current reality of the system we live under? The truth is that even though capitalism degrades the lives of billions, sending us into poverty, denying us the means to live a dignified life, and exploiting us by taking the products of our collective labor and placing them into the hands of an ultra-rich elite, the resistance to these savage attacks is not going to spring up all at once. Although we are told that America is a democratic country, it really isn't. All of the major economic decisions are made behind closed doors, and as far as politics goes, like Marx said, we are only allowed to choose which particular members of the ruling class are to exploit and oppress us once every few years. It's completely natural for people to feel disillusioned with the whole process, feeling that government is beholden to corporate interests and that there's nothing they can do to change it. And in the context of capitalist politics, they're right. Millions of working-class people voted for change in late 2008 and found out that the only change that occurred was that the union busting, the wars, and the crackdowns on education were being administered by a Democrat instead of a Republican. No, voting for the parties that big corporations own full stop isn't going to change a thing. And supporting the so-called lesser evil candidate is still evil. But there's another kind of politics, the kind that's being built today, along with hundreds of thousands of fed-up workers and students all across the country. This is where real power lies, because we are the vast majority in this society, and we make it run through our labor, or in the case of students, they're training for future labor. Today's day of action is seeing nationwide strikes, protests, and demonstrations led by the mass unions and student groups in California against the savage wave of cuts and austerity that we are all faced with. A few days ago, over 150,000 people marched on Washington, D.C. to demand a jobs program to combat the skyrocketing unemployment brought on by the Great Recession. And between now and next spring, the newly formed United National Anti-War Committee will be mobilizing the full force of its membership and allies to call for an immediate end to the U.S. imperialist occupations and the channeling of war dollars into human needs programs. Our movement is growing. During the last National Day to Defend Education, we were the only group protesting in Iowa. Now we are joined by our friends in the Wild Rose Collective, and we stand in solidarity with the workers of UE Local 896 demonstrating in Iowa City. It takes a courageous minority to begin the fight back against the injustices of capitalism. As the struggle grows, ever wider layers will be drawn into the fight. The central question that confronts seekers of social change is how to grow these movements into mass forces that can challenge and defeat the power structure that's trying to make us pay for the recession. The answer lies in the ever greater unity of all progressive currents and their transformation into a political vehicle that fights for fundamental structural change. The failings of the system are there for all of us to see. Last year, Democratic Governor Chet Culver cut $332 million from the education budget, hitting early childhood education, the free lunch program, and assisted tuition for low-income students. Recently, it was announced that the Cedar Rapids School Board Secretary is giving himself a raise, while local, state, and federal government officials preach the need for cuts, cuts, cuts. Education under capitalism is meant to produce new generations of skilled workers to be exploited for profit, but it can't even do that anymore. More high school students are slipping through the cracks, as increased classroom sizes mean teachers can't give them the attention they deserve. More are losing access to college education, or finding that even with a degree, they can't secure a job. In this day and age, every serious demand of the oppressed inherently goes beyond the greed-shackled limits of the capitalist system. Today, we raise our voices to demand university education for all. We demand better pay and working conditions for educational staff so they can better serve their students. We demand that immigrant students, including the undocumented and the children of the undocumented, be included on the road to a better future. Balance the budget by taxing the rich and ending the criminal wars. A better world is possible, but it will only become a reality if we have the determination to stand together and build it.